Hey, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another stream from Ramen Toy with me, Ace. And today we're in a special location, not in the usual studio. As you can see from my surroundings, I'm actually in a KFC here in Guangzhou International Airport. And I'd like to say a big thank you to Michael Canova, whose entrance video you just saw over there in the 5 minutes countdown. And Michael is actually helping me today in the background in the studio. And yeah, so thank you all for joining the stream. I'd like to say hello to some of the people who are already in the stream. We have Mynix in the house. We have Requiem. We have over here Starkiller Base. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much. We have Zilius also in the stream, guys. And Retro Toy Escapades Ken from Malaysia. Thank you so much for joining, my friend. It's so late for you. Vincent Hurley in the house. We have Starkiller Base as well. And I think I saw Ryan Laserpants. There we go. Laserpants is in the house. Thank you so much, Ryan, for joining. And Kato's collection as well, right? Christopher Bollard as well. And thank you so much for joining. So yeah, guys, we are going to actually get right into it. Daniel K as well. Thank you so much. We don't need to sell a kidney for the Marshal. It's all going to be very good. Well, thank you guys for joining. I am actually going to be on a flight really soon. Flying around recently, it's kind of hectic, but still, today's live stream has to be done before I take this flight over to BKK. Well, first of all, guys, last week we were in the Shizuoka Hobby Show, and what I did was I tried to show you guys the event hall, but due to very, very bad internet connection for some reason, okay, we just could not broadcast the feed to you guys. So my sincere apologies. There was just too many iron structures, I think, going on in the convention center, and we just couldn't get a decent reception. So I had to cut the feed. So apologies for that. But guys, there are lots of content creators who have done, a great summary of the halls in very crystal clear videos. I'm sure you can check that out as well. But of course, guys, today is about Ramen Toy. And of course, before I carry on further, am I broadcasting you guys? Okay, let me know in the studio. Michael, yeah, that's good. Thumbs up. And all right, guys, if you're also hearing me okay and then receiving me okay, give me a five, or for one, if it's not good, five for very good. Just let me know, key in those numbers, and I'll know that we are actually broadcasting pretty well. All right. So, okay, today's live stream is to connect to everybody, pretty much to let you know the updates on Ramen Toy. Right, we had a very successful ramen racer campaign, and the last time I was actually also in a airport going to Japan when I hopped onto the Mega J Retro stream. So today, again, coincidentally, not planned, I'm in the airport again. So let's get right into it. We are currently in the final stages of the production of the Red Gullwing. So as much as we have delayed a little bit from our initial planned production delivery in the first quarter of this year, we are currently closing towards basically the mid of this year, June. So it's gonna be done, right? We've already done the box, we've done the test shots, we've sent some test shots out to a few content creators to get their opinions on it. We have finalized the actual pre-production colors. We have actually further improved the tension of the way the doors open up. And for example, Ken, yourself, Bill Ferris, you have Dean McMahon, you have Mike from Titanium Hanger. When you guys get your hands on the actual Gullwing, you can see what I mean, because you guys have handled the test shot. You know the tension on that particular button, and then you'll see the difference between the final product and what you had with before. All right. So that is very much in the goal, right? I'm happy. We're happy about the Red Gullwing. Thanks to Gary G for the excellent artwork. Flip open box. I could have showed you guys the box physically with me, but I am in on a flight. Otherwise, if this live stream was going to be broadcasted back in my studio, I would have the box physically to show you guys. All right. So apologies for that. So yeah, the box is done. It's fantastic. We got the car currently in production. It is being injected. It's being next stages going to be pad printing, going to be assembly, painting, and all these things. And I will definitely put together, a clip of montage to show you guys the actual progress of the Gullwing as and when I get back into the mainland China. All right. So we are now targeting a delivery, hopefully by the end of June for sure. Okay. So once that happens, of course, you will definitely see all the updates on Facebook as always, right? Every step of the way, I will be giving you guys the latest on development. All right. So Gullwing is really, really very close to delivery. You just wait a little bit more, and then for Great White, that is going to be coming up right after Red Gullwing. We're holding off again. We're holding off on taking any more pre-orders because we know that you guys need to see the real thing before you guys dive in. No pun intended for the Great White. And we really, really wish that everybody would grab the products at the early bird price because that will be the lowest possible price that we can give for the particular product. So again, right, once the Red Gullwing is out and you guys receive it in hand, hopefully that will spur you on to really put that pre-order down when the Great White is available for early bird. Okay, and as we are speaking right now, the Great White is already in tooling. Okay, so unlike what we did before, which was like a safety net for us, right? We have to get the orders in before we tool. We're going right ahead and we have already started tooling on the Great White. Now, with the final prototype of the MK, I think it was 4, right? If I'm not mistaken, with I've showed you guys on video, right? How it transforms, everything like that. But because that prototype was not able to apply the colors, so we thought about it and said, hey, let's just go ahead, tool the Great White, get it into production ready status, like the test shot for the Gullwing, put that in color, put that in pictures, and then let's start the early bird. And then once we have the early bird in, we can, ship as soon as in a month or 2 months' time. All right? How about that? All right, that's our giving back to the community for supporting a successful campaign of Makina's Red Gullwing. And then with the Great White, we're not going to let you wait any much more further. We're already in tooling. Simple as that. All right. Yeah. So that's so much for Makina, and of course with the response. One thing more Makina. We are developing the next Makina product, which I will reveal as soon as we can. All right. Nothing, lips are sealed at the moment, so just hang on there and just wait a little bit more until we reveal the product. Okay. So that is Makina. And I think for the next one that we're going to be talking about that's delivering soon is the land drone. All right. So the land drone has been put up for, let's see. Okay, great. I'm just talking to you guys, and then if there's any comments, Michael will just flash them up for me to take note. But we'll do all the question and answers after I'm done with the presentation. All right. So next thing we need to talk about is the land drone. Land drone was pre-ordered back in last year, and then again it was sluggish for us to get into production because the pre-order numbers weren't there. Again, everything's a new mold, right? It's not a rehash of colors. It's a completely new tooling, and we need to know exactly that we have what it takes to help us to start the tooling. So we have already started the tooling back then, and what was preventing us or prevented us from going into full production was because of the numbers. We couldn't get the full numbers to meet the MOQ, but now we're pushing ahead anyways. As you can see from the website, we're still having the land drone available at early bird price, right? Early bird price because we have not yet actually even reached our MOQ. So hopefully, right, once we have the land drone shipped out, you guys can see it, you guys can love it, and then you guys can talk about it more, and then maybe more people can buy into the land drone. All right. So land drone is shipping also in June. We're waiting for the talented Gary G to help us to finish up the packaging for the land drone, which will be in the same retro style packaging as we saw with the Antagonist Cyborg. So Antagonist Cyborg was the first figure with the retro style packaging. Land drone will be next. And then following closely after land drone is the Apache Commander. So a little bit on that, we started off with the 80s Commanders retro series, hoping that we can do the Kenner size figures for the Apache Commander with the Rolling Thunder. Unfortunately, that did not take off, right? We had to cancel that project. And then we moved back into the smaller scale of our 80s Commanders and put on the crossbow for the Apache Commander, right? So that was also on pre-order. And, we've gathered the orders. And again, not a very good looking report card in terms of the sales of the Apache Commander, but we push forward anyways, right? Well, the team is pushing forward and we are tooling the Apache Commander as we speak, the crossbow, right? The body is already done. It's going to be a rehash of the 80s Commander's body. We got to tool the crossbow, and then once that is done, I'll definitely share with you guys test shot images, etc., etc. But that's the way it's going to be, right? Land drone followed by the Apache Commander, and then we will revisit the retro three original figures: the Naval Commander, Air Force Commander, and Armor Commander. So we've actually, got a little bit ahead by putting the Naval Commander up on pre-order. Although the idea was to actually put three of them up altogether, I had some delays of putting the other two up because I wanted to have the actual images of the new features of these figures for this round, which is basically the printing of the logo on the helmet. That's one major difference. We have the shoulder pads, which are now hinged instead of the same material, right? Instead of bonded together, it's now hinged. And then we have rectified the waist, because if you guys notice the waist of the 80s Commander, you notice a little cut, right? That shouldn't be there. So we have actually revised it to make it full, okay? And apart from those changes, we are definitely looking at the colors, right? The colors are now specifically matching the original Cannon. So what we did was we took the original Cannon figures and we specifically matched the green, the orange, the olive drab, and etc. etc. Right. So initially with the 3-pack, right, we had tried to match cartoon style colors, but in this case we are matching exactly with the colors that you saw back in the day. All right. Granted, there will still be some differences because the original figures were done in ABS instead of PVC, so ABS had a bit of a sheen compared to our PVC. But again, we are doing it as close as possible. Now, the only other differences on this batch of commanders is that for the Naval Commander, his weapon system has 3 additional holes. So we went back into the tooling and we got holes into the product, into the part, all right? And then for the Armor Commander, he has another twin barrel cannon, and that we added another pack so that instead of having it packed in one direction, you can now pack it in both directions as per the original cannon toy. Not too much changes for Air Force Commander though, so he remains the same. But the whole idea is that we're going to have all these things in the nice retro packaging. All right, so that would be coming up later on in the year, and we will have them up for pre-order once we release the Apache Commander. All right, so for those who have already pre-ordered the Naval Commander, your orders are still good with us, but the Armor Commander and the Air Force Commander's pre-orders will be available later on in the year. And that brings us back to the final product, which is the Phantom Foil, right? So Phantom Foil, we are going to commence the tooling in the later part of this year, because right now we're very much busy with the Ramen Racer, the Great White. So after we are done with those, then we will start on the Phantom Foil, right? So a bit of delay there as well, also because we are trying to get the numbers again, right? So Phantom Foil, unfortunately, is also in that downward trend in terms of the demand. We are managing it, right? The 80s Commanders is not exactly the high flyer for us, but we're managing it. We're hoping that we will still continue to make 80s Commanders figures for everybody. But of course, we need to also focus on what's really trending up. And trending up are things like the Ramen Racer and Makina. All right. So talking about the Ramen Racer, as you have seen in previous days, I've shown images of the so-called tooling master, right? So what we had was that we had the previous prototype. From the prototype, we revised it on the 3D before we tooled. And then before we actually got the tooling done, we output again, right? So you saw that the hood One example was the hood of the Ramen Racer. We have the ad that has the air intake. I showed you now the back side of the prototype. Doesn't look too good, right? Right? The back side of the prototype had nothing, right? But the back side of the actual production, you have all the details, you have the air intake going and everything, right? So everything else for the Ramen Racer as well, the individual rims that we promised before, right? The graphite black is going to have its own rims. The Tiger Orange will have its own rims, and everything is interchangeable via screws, and you can remove it. So one of the collectors actually mentioned about the strength, right? The durability of having a metal screw versus a plastic, part, right? So we're definitely looking into that. And best case scenario, we could devise some kind of a nut, right? A metal screw that is screwing into a nut that is molded together with the part, or right, we will devise a way to make sure that the plastic is going to be durable for this particular, screwing in, screwing out, and durability. So not to worry about that. We'll definitely look into it. So as you can see also from the pictures that I've shared, the front grille of the Ramen Racer has an abundance of parts that you can mix and match. All right, the grill, vertical pieces, etc., etc. So all these, as per promise, is going to be happening on the Ramen Racer, as well as the spring-loaded suspension on the wheels. Okay, so once I get the test shot done, which we are currently targeting to be in end of July, Okay, I'll share with you guys, a nice test shot of the Ramen Racer. So we are actually looking pretty good, pending any other changes or things along the way. We're looking pretty good for a early November release for the Ramen Racer. So the Ramen Racer is still available for order on our website with the $200 price tag extending until the 1st of July. We're trying to get to 2,500 units. We've been stagnant at the 1,585 pieces sold, right? Kind of stagnant, but it's okay. But hopefully we can actually get to 2,500, and then we will have Mr. Agent Scully as a prototype for you guys to support in a crowdfund. It's so separately, okay? And I'll have some updates on the little ammo crate that covers the battery that we promised, okay? That one is currently in 3D modeling process. And I'd like to also take this opportunity to actually mention that the campaign for the designing of the ammo crate is unfortunately cancelled. So I thank everybody for submitting the entries via email, but the entries weren't enough for us to gather into a actual contest. So it was decided to be scrapped. So sorry about that. But we'll have another campaign coming up really soon. Okay. The idea, hopefully it works, is that you guys can design the Ramen Racer yourself, right? Deck it out to what you want it to be. And then we'll have that as a competition, right? Send in your designs, and then we'll have the designs properly posted up for voting. And of course, the idea is that the winning design will have your design made as a one-off special release, and you will get that particular Ramen Racer that you have designed yourself. Okay, so that's something that we're looking for the future. But in the meantime, let's concentrate on getting that finished tooling and then production, and then sent out to everybody, and then you can enjoy a 1/12 scale vehicle for your 1/12 scale figures. Okay, so that is Ramen Racer. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to be talking now about the upcoming pre-orders. So everybody has looked at and are excited about the Marshal, right? The Marshal is there. We've shown a previous prototype. We've shown a previous painted sample, and we've revised the painted sample to the colors that you guys thought was too bright and too vibrant. So it's now revised. And of course, a head that you guys thought was a little bit too elderly, and then we revised it. The hairline comes down. He looks a bit more youthful, but still in the interpretation that we want it to be per the sculptor, right, who worked on this Marshal, Mr. Luke Wickford, right? So as much as there's talks about how it doesn't look like the cartoon, Please understand that this is our take on the Marshal, and it's our own stylized version, and it is done with the passion of the sculptor in mind. Okay, so the Marshal currently is in the colored prototype phase, but having said that, I've still have certain things that I'm looking at, which we are going to be adding to the figure. So the pre-orders will not come so soon. We are now currently in the last week of May. With a painted prototype in hand, we could easily start the pre-orders next week, right? Next week as next month, June. But no, we're holding off until July. Also because again, we want people to get more ramen toy products in their hands. We want people to have a breather with the pre-orders that have been happening with the ramen racer, with the 80s commanders, Phantom Ford, etc., etc. So these are all pre-orders that you guys have put in your hard-earned cash and hard-earned money, and we're going to deliver those to you guys as soon as possible. And then in the meantime, there's going to be a June breather. There'll be no pre-orders for June, and we'll start the pre-orders in July. And by the time everybody will have gotten their Red Gullwing and land drone as well. Okay, so pre-orders for the Marshal would come in July with a picture. And there will be, let me tell you first, a web exclusive. Okay, more details about that coming up. Now, another thing that we'll also put up for pre-orders in July will be the Aces of Aviation. Okay, we already have two images of the Joy Rogers and the Wolf Pack as figures that we will definitely make to pre-order, but we're still waiting on a few other minor details before we start the pre-order process. Now, what are they? They are actually to confirm the stickers for the patches, right? So the way ASOL Aviation will be delivered to you will be the pilot with the G suit that can be removed, a cool looking helmet with the visor that comes down and up, right? You can put down the visor, you can retract the visor, oxygen mask that goes onto the helmet, and of course the pilot sculpt, which you have already seen uses the sculpt of the naval commander, but we will not be issuing two exact naval commanders head sculpts for the first wave of the figures. We in fact have another figure, another head sculpt already planned. So I will get that output and painted, and then another round of pictures, and then you guys can pre-order the Joy Rogers and the Wolf Pack with a separate head. So initially, to rush out those images, we used one head, but exactly there will be two unique heads for the first wave. And we've already planned two more heads. We've sort of shared one of them recently, right? So there'll be two more heads in the works for the next wave of the Ace of Aviation. And of course, finally, the very first figure that we teased very much will also be available somehow. So just keep in touch with our Facebook and our newsfeed, and you'll know how to get it. Now, getting back to what I was saying about the patches, so we are trying to tie down the methodology of doing the stickers. It will not be paper stickers, right? It will not be paper stickers. It's going to be some kind of fabric sticker that mimics an actual patch, all right? So you will get the Ace of Aviation pilot naked with his, not naked, but as in he's not marked, right? The patches will all be available in a separate sticker sheet, right? So you can actually put on whichever emblems and markings that you want, okay? And that also helps us with the first figure, as I was saying. Okay, anyways, so that is Ace of Aviation. We hope to bring that to you guys really soon again, coming up in July. So just wait another month for us to finalize the figures for the first wave, and then including maybe some other accessories, right? We're going to be doing some accessories as well. So that will be included as well. So that's for Ace of Aviation. And then speaking of hits, the Master of the Verse hits will be shipping when I get back to the mainland China in the early maybe not early, but around the middle of June, right? So I will have updates for you guys very soon. We're already very much in production. I've shared how we're going to be packaging the heads in a blister. And for those of you who say that that's over packaging, just put it into a little Ziploc bag. No, because in a Ziploc bag without any protection, if you put that Ziploc bag into a padded envelope, it's gonna rub, right? We're not using boxes because you can't put a small head in a small little box, right? It's gonna be in an envelope that has enough real estate surface area to place the address label. So a small head in a little box, like a wedding ring, in a box, it doesn't work because you have no place to stick on your label. And if you talk about putting the box into another envelope, that is the same thing as our blister, right? So the blister serves to protect the entire face, head, coloring and everything from any abrasion. So it's going to be in a nice little clamshell blister that I've shown you guys. It will have a backing card that would identify which particular item number the heads are. So those are in production and ready to ship as soon as middle of June. All right. So if I'm not mistaken, I think I've covered the basis, Michael. So I think now it's time for us to look at the comments that have been ranting away. What do you think? Okay. Derek Roque say, will I make the villain to take on the Marshal? So as we have mentioned before, we have the Marshal already sculpted and good to go. We have 3-0 that many of you have actually asked the question, are we doing the horse? So 3-0 has already been sculpted. I'm just waiting to have that in a prototype form to show to you guys. And of course, if and when the response is good, we'll definitely work on more figures. All right. Starkiller Base, any news on the price of the Marshal? So same thing, we are not going to go anywhere further from our maximum 99.95 for a 6-inch figure. So that would be around the price range, right? 99.95 is the retail price, and then of course the early bird is 30% off of that. Mike LeMay, the new pics on the Marshal are perfect. You guys nailed it. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Kato, you cannot wait for the Marshal, and I cannot wait to actually show you guys more images that I've taken. I've actually taken a bunch of images, but I'm waiting for the good people at Ramen Toy to help us with editing the picture so that it's more than just looking like a white background. All right, so a bit of a tease here. You can see that lots of pictures of the Marshal. Lots of pictures. It's looking fantastic. He has a poncho. He has a removable vest, right, in 2 colors. And yeah, we're definitely considering and very much so going to include 2 heads with the figure. All right, it's going to be really worth the while. These nuts as well. Good to see you in the stream again. Would like to see an Ramen Airwolf helicopter to go with my Ramen Racer. Well, we will look on that. Work on that definitely. Okay. OLU. Is that right? OLU? Or is it QLU? QLU. OLU. Yeah, that's right. Okay. When will the campaign for Ramen Racer end? Will the Ramen Racer go into production if it doesn't meet its MOQ? We are already going to be in production. What MOQ? The Ramen Racer is underway. We are tooling it. We have the numbers of 1,585 pieces sold that we will produce for sure. And the campaign will not end, right? It's ongoing until we sell out. So our MOQ at the factory is 2,000 pieces. All right. So okay, let's take it up from the top again. The MOQ for the factory to do the Ramen Racer is 2,000 pieces. We've sold 1,585 units, and coupled with our wholesale orders, we will reach somewhere around 2,000. Even if we don't reach 2,000, the whole idea of continuing to sell the remaining units at $250 will stand until we sell out. So that's the plan. Okay, but if we do hit 2,500 pieces, then we can make the numbers to 2,500 pieces, right, at the best possible price. 175 is gone, but now it's at 200. So there's still a 200 price tag that's available if anybody wants to buy the Ramen Racer. And then if we do 2,500, we will make 2,500 and maybe a little bit more, right? So there's always people who missed out on the news on the onset, and then they'll come at the later stage, and then we want to make sure that there's at least some units left. Like now in the Makina case, we plan for 2,000 pieces, but we're making 2,500 so that there's enough spare for people who are now ordering the Red Gullwing as well. So that is the whole gist of it. Okay, until a time where we can be like the bigger boys to make at least 10,000 and above units. We are currently having this price structure that meets our MOQ, and then it pays for the tooling, it pays the bills, and then helps us to carry on and hopefully even get licenses in 2024. So the whole idea of our pricing strategy has been well thought out, at least in our internal deliberation. And then this plan would help us to reach the next milestone, the next goal, etc., etc. So in terms of your question, maybe you're talking about when does the campaign of the price ends. The early bird has already ended at 175 on May the 9th. It started on April the 9th. It was 1 month of 175. We had great support. As I mentioned, I thank everybody for that great support. We really appreciate it. We've never sold above 1,000 units in under a month. We did that thanks to everybody who supported and believed in Ramen Toy and our vision and our product. We thank you for that. And as a token to give back as well, we did not immediately put the price back at 250, but rather we have what we call the advanced commitment phase. Between now and until the 1st of July, you can still get the Ramen Racer for $200 per unit. And then once it's done, we will move on to price it at 250. Hope that answers the question. All right. Jason, welcome to the stream. No, there will be no roll cage for the Hazard Racer because everything is the same as what you saw on the graphite black. We just changed the color of the exterior, obviously, to a tiger orange, and the interior to tan, the wheels, the rims, and then the push bar on the front. But did you actually meant the push bar on the front? Did I get it wrong? Okay, but if you meant that, yeah, the push bar on the front, the roll bar, that is definitely available for the tiger orange. All right. Korisu, will the early bird Makina packages look different from the regular ones? No, early bird just simply means that you got it at the earliest price, best price possible. Everything is the same. Okay. Vincent Hurley, I would love if you guys took a shot at the Scott and T-Bob. Okay, speaking of that, before we reach May 22nd, I actually got to download something. So it reminds me of that. Okay, so yeah, we're actually waiting on me being free enough to look at some of the things that's in my list of things to do. So that reminds me, yes, I need to actually download that particular piece of information. Thanks for that. Anyways, Michael, thank you so much. Without you, I can't really even navigate the comments. So thank you so much, Michael. Zami Mass, haven't heard any news of the Bat to the Bone. No, it's not cancelled. It's being... So what we did is that we showed the sculpt, and then the next phase of that sculpt is to break it down for the articulation. So it just happens that we are, having that sort of in the kitchen, so to speak, dicing it up. Once it's available as a prototype, we'll definitely show it to you guys. So it's definitely something that is in the works along with other products that we have in the works. So not to worry, it's not cancelled. It's just being in the works. All right. Tangent Topa, please say something about the bad Red Doctor. So you're talking about the antagonist scientist. Is that right? I think so. So for that one, again, we need to clear so-called the backlog of 80s commanders, right? 80s commanders had done beautiful for us, done very well for us for the very first three figures. It has not done so well thereafter, and we need to really find the opportune time to put our efforts into making the antagonist scientist. So please bear with us. My next, any plans for an animal-based line like the military dogs or mythical creatures? Not exactly. Not exactly. You have something in mind? You can always brainstorm, but not exactly. OLU again. Are we looking on the 2K backers in order to unlock the translucent? Yeah, exactly. Still. Once we reach 2K units sold of the Ramen Racer, we will automatically have the translucent tires and the blower included into the Inferno pack. That's for sure. Okay. But currently we're still at 1585. Okay. Anthony Horton, do you determine which project you do? How do you determine which project you do? I think I've mentioned this before, and I'll say it again. It's basically what I like first and foremost. So if I like something and have a passion about it, I will devote the time and effort to develop something about the particular product, about the particular genre. So that's the first thing. And we haven't done so well taking certain feedbacks. For example, the Apache Commander is something that I had no idea what it was, but I took the comments and suggestions in the day. We made it, but nobody wants it. So still believe in what my vision for making the stuff is what I'll stick to. Anthony Conrad, any pre-order idea dates? Yes, as I mentioned, it's going to be in July. An exact date we don't have yet, but once we finalize the figure of the Marshal, including certain accessories, have everything all properly photographed and presented, you guys know exactly what you're getting. Then we'll have for pre-order, and that's targeted to be in July. Hey, Sentinel Base, thanks for joining. Any news on the wearable helmet? Yes. Again, we had a vision, we had a list of things to do, but sometimes, like in the case of Ramen Racer, and suddenly we have Ace of Aviation, and Back to the Bone. That sort of push certain things behind, and that has pushed the helmet behind. Also because I wanted the helmet to be done in a certain way, and right now it's just without the bandwidth, right? I don't have the bandwidth to look at the helmet at the time being. It's not cancelled. It's definitely still a thing to do. I just need more time. I hope to revisit it at the end of this year. And I hope to be able to have the helmet presented when I'm able to go to a show in the US. Hopefully, that'll be in 2024, June, and thereafter. So that is what I have planned. All right. June bug. We need a Duke voice. So again, if there is a demand that I can see physically, then we will definitely go into it. Currently, there is not enough orders for the Tiger Orange that renders us the confidence to go develop these two figures. So it will have to be something much later on in the pipeline, if and when conditions for the demand of this particular thing changes. All right. Hopefully that answers your question. Have I announced the price for the Marshal yet? I think I just mentioned it just now. We are always capping a figure of 6-inch size at 995, no more. Okay. Again, and the reason why we're doing that is because again our MOQ has always got to be at least 1,000 pieces, right? 1,000 pieces. We have not done anything more than 2,000, right? Yet, even though we have Makina set at 2005, because I said we are doing it at 2005 because we are getting the MOQ, and then we're doing a bit more extra because we're not going to be rerunning this Makina Red Gullwing. It's not going to be something that is evergreen. Just turn on the production and just keep running, right? We know that it's a limited thing. You know, it's not mass market, so it's capped at that. So until again, the time where we can actually venture into, you know, big stores and have the quantity, things are just going to still be around this price and then at this quantity. Okay. Um, how do I pronounce your name, my friend? Viha. I don't know, man. I'm just gonna call you VG. All right. Hey Ace, Tommy.com I started. Oh yeah, I heard about that. Right, a 110 scale die cast. I heard about that. I heard about that. You know, it's fine. It's fine. Um, it's a great collectible that I'm looking forward to as well. But I have other ideas, and I'm definitely encouraged when I was at Shizuoka and I saw the actual DeLorean. And then our friend Michael also saw a DeLorean at the Comic Con just yesterday, right? So the signs are there. The signs are there that, you know, this might really be a thing that needs our attention, that needs us to actually get our hands dirty and then build it and get it out to you guys. So, but again, you know, something like that really renders a license, all right? And we are confident that if we get the Ramen Racer out, if we present the Ramen Racer in front of Universal and tell them our plans, then something good should come out of it. All right, so still stay tuned. Eric Dement, I guess I missed something. Are you still getting Matt Hawking's mask? Yes, the figure comes with the vehicle. Okay, simple question. What would be my absolute dream project? Armin asked. Dream project. Wow, so many. In fact, I'm already fulfilling my dreams, right? Um, I don't know. I don't think I have an absolute dream project. Everything is a dream. Everything I'm doing right now is a dream come true. I guess the dream project would to be to get it licensed officially, and then we can really tweak the actual likeness of those characters. That would be a dream. Gregory, any price for the Ace of Aviation? So I mentioned this again. We are looking at maybe 89.95 for the retail price because it has less accessories compared to, you know, other figures at 99.95 that we've done. So that would be probably the case, but we'll confirm it as soon as I can get all the parts for the pieces of the figure in my hands to really do the numbers. But we're gonna probably do that, and then of course the early bird of 89.95 will be the best possible price to order it from our website. Wong Jong Hong. What else are we looking forward under the Makina line? Switchblade, Rhino, Raven. Just have to wait and see, my friend. So sorry about that. Just have to wait and see. So Gregory again, any news on the return of Silverhawks? Okay, so um, we are definitely working on the female character and the kid, and I have to really navigate it properly so that I can release the Titanium Titans as the brand name for these figures. So that's all I can say for now, but we are still having that in the works, not to worry. In fact, we have pushed behind certain other of your favorite ones so that we can actually work on these figures because we have limited resources and, you know, it's one figure at a time, not many figures concurrently. So please bear with us, and that's it for that. Yeah. Ricky Moreno, if we don't reach 2,000 for the Ramen Racer, would there be a chance to buy the translucent stuff? Um, let's see. The problem is the MOQ. I have difficulty to ask for a run of the parts and then sell it separately. That's my major problem. I mean, it's a problem that is, I mean, it can't be solved. When you turn on the machine and you inject the part, you have to test the temperature. The first few parts that comes out is rubbish. You have to tweak it until it's almost like frying the perfect egg with a soft center. Unless you are such an expert that you know exactly the first egg is going to be like that. Maybe not a good example because there are some experts in making eggs, right? But let's say you're a novice, right? You may have to spoil many eggs to get the perfect egg. But that's not exactly the case for the machine. The machine is that every time you turn it on, you do have to do, testing of the material. And then there's a lot of material that's wasted until you get the correct temperature, the correct output. It has to fill the cavities completely, right? The right pressure and everything. And there's no one setting for everything, right? Different molds at different sizes, different material quality, like PVC. You have, the 90, 95, 80, the different softness, everything's different. So to have all those things done, and then we're going to inject, 10 sets? The guy, nobody's going to do it for me, man. So I really cannot. Please understand, right? That's why we wanted to get to a certain number and then we do it for everybody. Scrimble City Bots, you agree with Kato. You're a fan of Ramen Toys Update. Thanks so much. All right, we appreciate it. All right. Stylized take, and you don't just want a reproduced toy from the 80s. Love your darker blue cyborg antagonist and silver parts. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And that's the best joy that we can get from all these satisfied collectors. All right. June Bark, in the future, can we see a 112 scale Ecto one? Whew. It might take a few years. All right. It might take a few years. All right. Let's see. We are almost an hour into the stream. What do you think, Michael? We're all good? Okay, so I think Michael is giving the thumbs up that we have reached the end of the comments and questions. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Thank to Michael for taking time out to manage the back end for us. I am really excited. I am on this little trip for personal reasons. I got to head to Bangkok in Thailand for some personal reasons. Also to take some time off. It's been really hectic. You have no idea. Michael knows, right? The journey I had from the mainland to Japan and back, it was as hectic as hell. And I need some off time. But again, everything is still running in the background. Not to worry. We have our guys working on all the stuff. So until the next time when I speak to you guys, okay? This is me, Ace from Ramen, and we really appreciate everybody for your support. Stay tuned on our Facebook and our Instagram for all the updates that we'll be bringing to you in the days to come. And Michael, please take us out.